Yo, what up, good people out there? We appreciate you tuning in. It's the Dominant DNA Podcast, episode 6. You know what I mean? It's an honor, a pleasure to be here with the man that makes this shit possible. You know what I'm saying? You always hear me salute E-Man, and here he is. Good to see you,
What's
brother.
up, fam? What's going on? How you been?
Blessed and busy, man. Just like you.
Hey, you know you gotta put in that hard work, man.
Indeed. For any of y'all that don't know, you know, I'm sure you know E-Man from producing a bunch of different shows. This is a special interview for me because, and they know about this behind the scenes, but you know, this is just for the fans. Coming on the Mellow Presents podcast really had me like, yo, I really want to do this shit, yo.
Inspiration, yo. That's what we try to do, yo.
Yeah,
we try to
yo.
inspire everybody, yo.
Yeah, so I definitely want to thank you for that. Salute to my man Mellow P. Salute
Mellow.
Salute to Crystal too for always sharing the shit.
Yo, his sister is on. Yo, she a beast online, dog.
Is she?
She is a beast. Good looking out, Crystal. I mean,
yes, we appreciate you. We
she
appreciate
a beast.
you. Indeed. So, when did you start producing? And you're very fucking great at it too, yo. This
Yo, let me
nice.
tell you.
This shit looks good.
Let me tell you, yo.
You know
This
what I
has
mean?
been like 5 years in the making, dog.
Okay.
We was doing podcasts before podcasts was podcasting.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? We were doing interviews. We were doing radio stations. We were doing all that before people decided they wanted to do it. Put it this way, we were doing it before it got cheap enough for everybody to do it.
Right.
Because at first, this was not a cheap thing to do. You know what I'm saying? Right. You had to have some real equipment to be able to pull this off.
Right.
But now, everybody, you can use a cell phone and pull a podcast off with a cell phone now. So.
And you can. I like this shit a lot
yeah.
better though. You know what I'm saying?
we put some time and some energy and some money into it. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, oh wait, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I can say, well, you know, we went legit in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? We put some money into it in the beginning.
Can we toast to that,
so,
please?
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Thank you.
So yeah, we put some time and effort into the beginning. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, technology made it so that cell phones can do it now and everything else. But remember, we were doing it. We were doing it before you could do it on your cell phone. So, you know.
Right. And, yo, I came on the Mellow Presents podcast a lot of times. You know what I mean? And had a fucking ball, yo. And that shit was really inspirational, yo. It was inspirational.
Yeah, that's what that Mellow podcast did. What it is we try to take all the talent locally and give them a platform to, you know, to speak out on. You know what I'm saying? All the local hip hop artists that we have out here, because salute to that too. Because, you know, a lot of Be More Talent doesn't have a platform to talk to. You know what I'm saying? They ain't had people that they knew, their inner circle knew who they were, but they didn't have a platform to get out there really. So, you know, Mello decided like, yo, I want to do some interviews.
Yeah.
I decided like, yo, all right, I can produce this situation. Let's roll with it. We put our funds together. We got some equipment, and that's what happened. You know, we started it, and then that led from that to other podcasts and producing stuff that I do. Yo, you know, I got Just Talking Sports. You know, them boys blowing up. You know, they about to be on radio, so you know they blowing up big time.
I seen that doing numbers.
Yeah.
I salute to everybody.
And then, you know, I got a couple other podcasts out there, you know, that I produce. The one right now that's really, really, really hitting is my Maryland Politics and World News right now. That's the one that's really hitting right now and getting everybody into their local governments and letting them know what's going on with their local governments and their worldwide government and state governments and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
that podcast they just had, matter of fact, last week they just had the Lieutenant Governor on. So they rolling.
Yeah. So that is a way to wake people up if they want to
Definitely.
wake up and put them deep with the shit that they need to be worried about. Is that correct?
Yeah. It's not. Actually, it's not even what they need to be worried about. It's what it is knowledge. You know what I'm saying? You can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have the knowledge to control the money, you lose it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I think I'm trying to bring to the people. You know, the educational level of what needs to be done in this world.
Right.
Anybody can obtain money. It's what you do with the money that makes you rich or poor. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So.
And you're actually into investment type shit?
Yeah, I got a new investment company.
We gotta toast to that.
Yeah, definitely. You know, definitely got a new investment company. You know, took some of my money that I worked for the man 9 to 5, Monday through Friday for the last 35 years, and took some of that money now and started my own little investment group. You know, we invest in stuff like houses and people. Main thing we do invest in people. You know what I'm saying? We invest in entrepreneurs that doesn't have the means or the money to make their dreams happen.
Right.
And we all know how hard it is to get a loan. We all know how hard it is to get a grant. We know how hard it is to ask people in your family for some money to start something. Nobody really believes, you know what I'm saying? So my new investment company, you know, we go that extra mile for you. You know, if you hit us with a proposal, we like the proposal, then we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that the business runs right and that you be successful, because if you're successful, we're successful. So that, you know, that's the way we roll with it.
Indeed. You have to have your shit together though.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You can't just be half-assing it. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? You got to come. The main thing is that when us as minorities, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes we want to half-ass some situations because we're dealing with minorities. You know what I'm saying? So let me make a plain example for you. If you were going to a bank and you say, hey, I want to get a loan of $100,000 to start a business, you know, you go in prepared. You go in with a suit on. You go in, you know, with a business plan. You go in with a mindset of I'm going to make this money.
Right.
But then, you know, if you go into one of your family members or, you know, a brother on the street, like, well, I got this plan to make some money. Well, you know, what's your business plan? Dog, I don't have a business plan. You know, let's still roll with it. You my man. You know, sometimes being friends ain't the way to go. You know what I'm saying? You know, you can be friends at one time and I'm gonna tell you this too. When you friends with your peoples, you know what I'm saying, and you got a business, everybody always want a discount. And let's understand this and understand it well, is because if you want a discount, that's fine, because you know the person you want a discount. But remember, in the back of your mind is that this is a friend of yours, and this friend is living off their business. A discount, you making them, you know, you're not doing right to your friend. You know what I'm saying? So if a full price meal costs $25, give your friend $30. You know what I'm saying?
Can we toast to that?
Yeah, just because it's your friend, don't go in there like, oh well, you know, this is my friend's restaurant, so you know I'm gonna get me a discount. It ain't all about that. You support your friends. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because you wouldn't go into somebody else's establishment and be like, oh, yo, I bought this steak, so I want a discount on it. Give me a discount. You wouldn't do that if you didn't know them. So why would you do that for somebody that you know?
I think some of it is ignorance. Because here's the thing. I'm not saying all of us, but we gonna keep it real.
Just keep it real. That's what we do on your podcast. Keep it real.
Have you ever had a difficult experience trying to do business with your own people?
Oh, absolutely.
And it's like, that's really where your intention that, like, yo, my effort is going here. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying everybody, but this is just a thought. I think a lot of people who are in financial positions to establish a business need to get some training on how to actually conduct business.
Absolutely.
See what I'm saying?
Absolutely, yeah.
Because if you own a legit store, even if it's on the block, it's not the block. It's different. It's completely. It'll have some similarities, but it's different. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like when you're conducting professional business. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You going in there and trying to show you the biggest, baddest nigga on the face of the earth it's gonna fuck your business up.
Right, and that's the thing that we do sometimes that we do wrong. You know, the biggest, baddest brother in the building is the one that everybody expects something of. The one that's sitting back saying absolutely nothing and doing absolutely nothing and observing is the person that no one thinks about, and that's the person you got to be aware of. You know what I'm saying? Because the one that does the less talking is the one that's thinking all the time. And if you understand that, you know what I'm saying, you'll never go wrong. The one that's doing all the talking is usually the one that's taking direction from somebody else. The man is usually never talking. You know what I'm saying? You never really see the one that's controlling everything. You never really see him talking a lot. You always see that person that's controlling, listening, observing, taking in information. You would never know who he was unless he told you who he was. That's the one you got to worry about. You know what I'm saying? The one that's in there making all the noise is the one that you just like, okay, you making all the noise. You really don't know what you're talking about because you're making a lot of noise about it.
Right. You want attention.
Right. And when how that translates in business is the same way. You know what I'm saying? The one that comes into your meetings talking all this stuff like, yo, my idea will blow up. I got this. I got that. You know what I'm saying? I can do this. I can do these numbers. I ain't got no problem doing these numbers. And then you ask and you go, okay, well, you can do them. So how are you going to get there? And he can't tell you how he going to get there. He can just tell you he will get there. But if you ain't got the how and the fact, and that's the most important part, the how.
Right.
Because you telling everybody that you can get there is fine. But how let you get there and let you stay there?
Right. It has to make sense to the people that you're presenting this shit to.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. People don't understand sometimes it's all about the how. You can say, all right, I'm gonna open my own club and I'm gonna do numbers because I know everybody in Baltimore City. You can say that all day. You can preach that all day. But the problem is if you can't tell them how you're gonna do it with a steady business plan, it don't make no sense to nobody.
Right.
Because I'm gonna tell you this, and I learned this from promoting because I used to promote. I used to promote about 20, 25 years ago, parties. The Facebook and the internet and all this other stuff changed the way some promoters promote their parties. Some promoters used to do this. They used to go out on the street and pass out flyers. Remember that? Mm-hmm. Remember go out and pass out flyers. Every party, every club that was hopping in Baltimore, you would go outside and see 15 flyers on your car. Yeah. You don't see that no more. Why is that? Because the internet.
Yeah. You can pay to reach the whole fucking world.
Yeah, you can reach a whole lot of people on the internet. But the thing about that is that never translates into dollars.
Right.
Never translates into dollars.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So is that your plan to promote, then you're gonna fail because that never translates to money. You gotta have something that's substantial enough to translate to money. You know what I'm saying? I go out and I can sell tickets. Tickets translate to money. I mean, how many flyers I sell? If I say I got 100 tickets sold already, that's tangible money I can tell somebody I got sold.
Right.
So when in that case, that's a steady business plan.
Indeed.
So like I said, the business has changed, but the problem is the way we do business hasn't. You know what I'm saying? The way the white man does business, that has not changed, and we as brothers, we have to understand that. We have to go in with a mindset, okay, I got to listen before I speak. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I ain't going to move until I know that I can move without nobody else being with me. That's why mentorships and stuff is so important when it comes to business. If you're going to open up your own business, find somebody that already has a business like yours and talk to these people because they've been through what you already go through.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Do you think mentorship is important at every step of life?
It is. It's very important.
Yeah.
To me, that's just important as people believing in religion. Because mentorship to me, here you go, salute. Mentorship to me is basically the same way as the Bible is. Someone's telling you a direction that you should go to have a great life, to be in the eyes of the Lord. Somebody has written it down for you. Now they're expecting you to follow that path. They wrote the path. They wrote it out for you, so they're expecting you to follow it. That's what a mentor does.
And you're absolutely right. I'm just saying, as far as the scripture really is concerned, the painful thing about it is it tells you that most niggas ain't gonna make it. It's not gonna be crowded because most motherfuckers don't want to, because they thrive off of negative energy and bullshit.
Well, that's true. That's so true. Negative energy and bullshit is what some people thrive off of. But the problem with that is, and I hate to say this, but that's all stemming from something else that they learn. You don't learn that when you coming out the womb. You don't learn that at 1 year old. Like racism. You're taught racism.
Indeed.
You're not born a racist. You're taught it.
Indeed.
So when you see a brother out here struggling, let's say he's a murderer, a rapist, and all that other stuff. You know what I'm saying? A lot of that situation he was taught. You know what I'm saying? A lot of that situation he saw. He determined that, okay, this is the path I want to go on, and that's the path he went to. That's why I say mentorship is so important in life. Because if he had a good mentor, if that person had a good mentor, maybe he could have went down another path. Some of us, all of us has mentors. In one way or another, all of us has had somebody that directed us in life. The problem is if we went right or left with our decisions from what that mentor taught us, or what that person showed us. Might have been your mother, might have been your father, might have been your homeboy, might have been a dude around the block. He getting paid money. You know what I'm saying? This is how the little drug dealers start. You see the dude making money on the block already. You want to make some money because you ain't got no money. So you go to him and be like, yo, how can I be like you? This is how y'all can be like you. I'm going to sit you on this corner, give you these 5-6 bags. You sell it, bring the money back to me, and then we can talk about it. That's the beginning.
What a fucking life, huh?
It's all about who you got in your life to mentor you through life. Business is the same way, and a lot of people don't realize that business is the same way. When you go to start a business, talk to somebody that's already in it. They know the hoops to jump through. They know what to do and what not to do. They know who to talk to, who not to talk to. You know what I'm saying? You might get a bad mentor. You might get a good mentor. The thing is processing the information that you get from them and then making your decisions afterwards. That's where we fail sometimes. We don't get enough information to make the proper decision. It's like jumping off the bridge and not knowing how high the bridge is. You know it's a bridge, but you ain't sure how far you're going to fall. You need to know that information, so.
Can all the fans just give E-Man a shout out for being a brilliant, positive dude?
Yeah.
Like seriously.
Dude, let me tell you, and like I said, I've been blessed because I got a lot of good friends in my life. A lot of people. I don't really have people that really went left, okay? I got a lot of people that stayed on that narrow, did their thing, went to college, living good lives and stuff like that. I got some.
Please let's answer that.
And I got some friends that sold drugs and did that thing and everything. I don't down any of them. But what I did, I learned from each one of them.
Right.
And that's the key. I learned from each one of my friends. I learned something from. I don't have one friend I haven't learned anything from. Even yourself. I learned some things about the music business I didn't know until I met you.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So, I soak up information. That's why everybody be like, yo, I don't hear you talking, or yo, why you always behind the scenes and never, doing podcasts of your own? There's no need to, because I take in the information, process it, and then I make it, come out the way I need it to come out, to benefit me, myself, my family, my friends, everybody around me.
And you definitely doing your fucking thing.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah. And coming on the Mellow Presents podcast, I always notice how you said something that made a lot of sense that would have put our people in a way better position. As far as people not investing in hip hop when it first started.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, and you can't take back time. You know, you can't take back whatever happened. But it's like, imagine if hip hop had black investors in the beginning. I think that shit would make. I think, as far as our people, at least in this country, we will be a lot further as a people. Do you think so?
I do. But the thing about hip hop in the early days is that it was a music genre that we didn't understand how to control. We didn't have Barry Gordy like he was controlling Motown. Everybody feared away from hip hop. It was the devil's music. It ain't gonna last. Remember all that stuff? It ain't gonna last. It ain't gonna do this. It ain't gonna do that. Nobody wanted to invest in hip hop except those that were in hip hop. And those that was in hip hop, them pioneers wasn't making that money like that. They were not making that money like that. They wasn't making the money like they are now. Now hip hop is number one now. Hip hop is everywhere. When you first heard hip hop in a commercial, you knew it was good. You knew it was blowing up. When you first heard hip hop in a movie soundtrack that was not black, you knew it was blowing up. When you heard white artists covering hip hop, you knew it was there. The problem is we didn't own any of it.
I feel like we fucked up real bad.
We didn't fuck up. I don't think we fucked up. I think what it is we wasn't educated about the music business.
Right.
And we got screwed. We had the talent to make the best music in the world. We didn't have the knowledge to control it. And that's what fucked us up. We couldn't control it. If we would have did shit like Master P did when he first came out, said, fuck a record company, I'm going to sell my shit out my trunk. You know, if we had more entrepreneurs like Master P, we might have came out better.
We definitely would have. I think we would have came
out
better.
Yeah, we'd have came out better. But you know about in the hip-hop industry because you're in it. It wasn't all about pushing records. It wasn't all about the long-term deal. It was all about, I got signed to a record company. Now I'm a big boy now. When you get signed, that's the only thing you think about. I got signed. Some artists get signed and don't even look at what they signing. Prime example, look at those artists like Salt and Pepper and everything. You see the biography for them. They signing something, they don't even know what they signing. Because it was they wanted to get on so bad that they decided that I'm going to sign it without really looking into it.
Can I make a confession?
Sure.
When I heard about the Spinderella situation, like, I didn't watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm like, it can't be authentic.
They talked about Spinderella in it.
But it's not.
But it's not Spinderella. Spinderella wasn't there.
It's not, right. So, me personally, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that as far as their mainstream success, like, she was really around, you know what I mean?
Yeah, she was. She was definitely around. And I mean, that's sad how that shit happened, but...
I mean, you're right. It went down how it went down, but just me personally as a fan, I was like, when I saw that she wasn't going to be involved or compensated for, like, I was done personally.
Yeah, they cut her. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, they cut her out, period.
Yeah.
Like, Spinderella's like gone from Salt and Pepper.
Yeah, I wasn't going to watch it personally, and I didn't. I think my wife did, though.
But see, that like I said, that's a plain example of how the hip-hop industry changes people. You know what I'm saying? Prime example. You know how the hip-hop industry changes people. You know what I'm saying? Salt and Pepper hasn't been on for 10, maybe 15 years now. Now they get the autobiography about themselves, and I don't know what transpired between them, But I know as soon as they get this contract to write this autobiography and have it, put the video, the film, now all of a sudden Spinderella's not in it. You know what I'm saying? So it's a thing of where as though I wouldn't necessarily say success, but I will say, opportunities changes people.
Most people.
I would say maybe 95% of people. And I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why I say that. Because if you win the lottery today, okay, you will be a different person tomorrow, no doubt, because of the money. You wouldn't be the same, Mark Math, as you was yesterday. Wouldn't be the same. And if you say you would be the same, you're lying. You're lying to yourself.
I can't agree with you.
You're lying to yourself. You wouldn't be the same.
Agree with you.
You wouldn't be the same.
I would be the same to different genres of people.
You would change. Money changes everything. And that's where, if you can't realize that, that's where we go wrong, because we don't understand that money changes things. It can change it for the good or the bad. But we have to recognize that it does change. And that's where we as black people tend to fall off. We make $1 million. You know what the average person do? Let's go with hip hop artists. They make $1 million. You know what they do? They go buy cars, jewelry, and stuff.
But I wouldn't. So I can't. That's why I can't say.
Like, you wouldn't do that, but you would buy other stuff. Hopefully, you would have invested. But it will force you to become what? A businessman. It'll force you to learn how to spend your money. That's where the change comes in. Now, me, I will understand my change is going like, okay, I got $1 million today. How can I make it $2 million tomorrow? And how can I make it $20 million for my descendants? For my kids. That's my mentality. You know what I'm saying? I want to double it and then make it even more for my kids. I want to make it more for my, my nieces and nephews. You know what I'm saying? What white people call generational wealth.
Right.
What black people call what? My point. My point. We have a slang word for everything in the dictionary except for generational wealth. How do we make our kids rich? How do we make our kids comfortable by the struggles we do today? And why is that situation like that? Because our parents wasn't taught that. Their parents wasn't taught that.
Well, if you trace it back enough generations, they were taught nothing.
Exactly.
It was illegal for them to read.
Right.
They could die for reading. So.
But look what they instilled in us, though. We didn't get the generational wealth part of it, but we got the right and wrong part of it. Now this generation has the ability to acquire generational wealth now. We as black people right now are making more money than we ever has made as black people, as minorities in this country now.
Can we toast to that?
We can toast to that.
Because a lot of people died for that.
Right. A lot of people died for that.
Right.
And what do we do with it? Who is teaching us generational wealth? Who is teaching us how to grow our wealth for our kids? Do you know white people don't want that to happen? Why is that? Why do they want? How come they don't want? Ask yourself, why do they not want us to understand generational wealth? And the reason is because if our kids are wealthy, then it makes an even playing field for everyone. If our kids stay poor,
it's not even playing field.
It's not now, no. Genetically, it's not. But why is that? We're just as smart as white people are. We're just as smart as Chinese people.
Well, here's the thing, and I'm not trying to cut you.
No, you're fine.
Technically, if IQ or whatever, right? That's supposed to measure your intelligence, right?
Who made the IQ test?
I'm just saying.
I'm just asking.
Here's what I'm saying. Genetically, if your brain is an ounce and a half bigger than that is not of you, genetically, it's no way in the world that person can be. If your IQ is the same, if there's no like disability or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
It's genetically impossible.
No, it's not. And I'm going to tell you why, in my opinion. Okay, two things. One, IQ test is made by who? I don't know one black person that made that IQ test.
Right.
Okay? So if you make a test that your people can pass, for your people to pass, to show the intelligence of your people, then the test is going to be biased for your people. Now, let me ask you a question that disputes that. To this day, we cannot make a pyramid from ancient Egypt. Who you think made that pyramid?
Gods. Angels, possibly.
Black people in Africa.
Absolutely.
So my whole thing is, and this is before an IQ test. This is before anybody was trying to judge who was smarter than who. Which nationality was smarter. This is before any of that. You had people in Africa doing things that people around the world couldn't. You had people in Africa living in stone houses made out of marble, gold figurines around them, while people in Germany were living in huts made out of clay and wood. Okay? So why is it now that they're smarter than us?
But see, it's not, this is just my opinion. They're not, that's what I'm saying. Like, as far as genetically, if a human's brain is an ounce and a half bigger,
That makes you smarter?
it has to.
No, because you're only using 35% of your brain.
I heard you only using 10.
So even 10, that makes it even worse.
But here's what I'm saying. This is just me, like, on some spiritual, and scientific shit, right? The pineal gland. If you keep opening up your pineal gland, in my opinion, you're just using more of your brain. Like, this is just me talking shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it's scientific knowledge that a human only uses 10% of their brain, is it not dumb as shit for a nigga to think that everything started and it's going to end with us if we only use 10% of our brain? Like, you don't, not saying you personally, but
right.
As a people, like, you really don't think that there's 20, 30, 40, you see what I'm saying? People that use, or beings that use more percentage of their brain. Like, no human can duplicate this fucking earth and the way everything is just feeding off each other.
Right, and I agree with that. I mean, I agree with that part of the scenario, but I don't think it translates to where you're from. I think that's just humans, period. I don't think it has anything to do with where you're from. So somebody in Africa can be just as smart as somebody from South America, who could just be as smart as somebody from America, who could be dumber than somebody from England. To me, I don't think it's a geographic thing. I think it's just a mentor thing. If my parents wanted me to learn more, they would feed me more knowledge. If my parents didn't have the opportunity for me to learn because they were slaves and I had to be big and strong and not smart, then guess what I'm going to be? Big and strong. Because they don't have the opportunity, the knowledge, or the skills to teach me to be smart.
They don't want you to have them.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. It's not all about, this is where all of it circles in it. It's not all about what you know. It's all about who you know. It's all about who is walking life with you. That's why they say sometimes a wife is so important to walk side by side with you in life. You know what I'm saying? And when they say behind every great man, there's a better woman. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe more than one.
Maybe more than right. Because you got your mother, you got your wife, and you got your daughters.
Exactly. Grandmothers.
Right.
Daughters, like.
It's all about who the king surrounds himself by. The king could be the dumbest person in the world, but if he surrounds himself with great people, he will look great, regardless of what decision he makes.
If he listens to them.
If he listens, that's the whole part about a king. King needs to listen. If king doesn't listen, he fails. All great kings, all of them, failed. Yep. Because eventually they don't listen. Eventually, they take everything literally, and they want more. Every king wants more.
Can I ask you this?
Sure.
From what I've seen, every black king at some point in time has hungered for white acceptance.
Yeah, I think that's acceptable.
And it's like,
really,
look at the results.
I really do think that's acceptable.
Look at the results.
But see, and to me, my situation is when you say that, I think of, the black king that everybody knows, Shaka Zulu. That's the black king everybody's familiar with. You know what I'm saying? Because we heard his story in all ages of life. We heard the story of Shaka Zulu. You know what I'm saying? They had a movie about him in the 80s, had a movie about him in the 2000s. We all heard it.
You see how they made him a slave in the 2000s, though?
Yeah.
That's fucked up. But that's really the shit that's really their agenda, yo.
It is, but you gotta understand too that, remember, when Shaka Zulu first encountered them, and I'm gonna say them because it was more than just people from England. When he encountered them, they had gunpowder that they stole from who? Japanese people. Remember, they invented gunpowder.
I didn't know that. But can we toast to you?
Know? So,
thank you.
So, they stole, turned it into a weapon, and then when you have a weapon better than somebody else's weapon, that's when, as a king, you got to say, okay, I have two options. I can go to war with them and get my people killed, or I can bow down to them and save my people. Okay? You only have two options. You ain't got no other options than those two. Okay? Shaka Zulu didn't have any options but those two. And that's what us black people tend not to realize sometimes. That options are limited when you're dealing with somebody that has more than what you can produce. So, America itself, we produce a lot of food, okay? We produce a lot of food for other countries.
Is it real food?
Whatever we're going to call it. Let's call it, just substance. We produce a lot of substance for other countries, all right? Do you think those other countries would say, fuck America, I don't need just food anymore, and have their people starve? No. They're going to accept whatever we say that we want to do. Why? Because they need the food. Their government needs the food for their people.
Well, I think it's also because of the type of money that's invested in the military over here. So much is invested in, you know what I'm saying, blowing up everybody's shit. You see what I'm saying? Right. And locking everybody up instead of just giving them a motherfucking opportunity.
Yeah, but look at it this way: the military might of the Americans, of us.
Yeah,
we couldn't win Vietnam, and I don't really think we won Desert Storm. The last two major wars. Because remember, after Desert Storm was finished, Saddam was still in power. So military might may attract people, but those that think that they can win won't do it. But when it comes to something like starving their people, that's why blockades are so valuable. If we can stop food, oil, and a lot of other essentials getting to another country, and they won't have it, they eventually will give up because they don't have the resources anymore. That's what war is all about: stopping the resources for that country to survive.
Or just go to complete war.
Yeah, but war, you go to complete war, you're not only killing your people, you're killing their people too. Okay, so if you don't totally annihilate, you get what came out of Vietnam. Look what happened with Vietnam. The soldiers came back from Vietnam. Instead of them being heroes, they were persecuted.
More so black than white, of course.
Right. But still, we're in a war that we shouldn't even have been in. But we were in it for the government.
A black man should never be in a white man's war.
You're absolutely right. But let's circle back around to before that with the Cuban Missile Crisis. You see what Kennedy did. He surrounded the whole Cuban island with ships. Told you come into this island, we're going to hit you. Stop them from getting their resources. When you stop somebody from getting their resources, you can cripple them.
And if you talking about blowing they shit up.
Yeah. You can cripple them.
Yeah. And can I ask you a question though?
Mm-hmm.
With all that, because that sounds real like mighty and powerful, right?
Yep.
And America is still fucked up right now.
We are.
You could tell it's fucked up because it's at least pretending to care about black people.
And that's a situation because we're no longer the minority.
What a fucking life, huh?
That's what it is.
Can we toast to that?
That's what it is.
Can we toast to that?
And I'm gonna tell you now, give it 15. I'll say in the next 15 years, Mexican and Hispanics will be the majority. Why?
Because black people though, right?
Huh?
You know they're black people though, right?
South America, yeah. People of color.
Can I make a confession?
Sure.
Yo. It was in the resort part.
Mm-hmm.
But you know how a lot of our people talk about going to Africa, right? Supposedly back to Africa. Yo. I could definitely do Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
In the resort part though. I ain't want no like the hood in Mexico.
That's what I'm saying. That's a resort. That is a resort.
Yo.
Everybody say, yo, we should go back to Africa. Motherfucker, go into South Africa, in the heart of South Africa for a week and come back and talk that shit.
Because they're under the same shit, right?
Right. They're under the same thing. Go into the heart of Mexico. Go into Venezuela. Forget the resort part. Forget the outside of it. Go into the inside of the country. Stay there for a week, then come back talking that shit. See how long you last without plumbing. See how long you last when you gotta go outside and take a shit. Outside in the public in a bucket. See how long you last without running water. With no electricity. No internet. America has people spoiled. And we're so spoiled right now that we are prejudiced to the people that don't have. And that's the problem that we're going through right now. The people that don't have are starting to rise up now. Because there's a lot more people that don't have than it is that have. And these people are starting to rise up now.
And if you look at history, it's like no kingdom, you know what I'm saying, no matter how big and bad a motherfucker was supposed to be, it never lasted forever.
No. There's not been one ruling country that has ruled forever. Not one. All the great empires has fallen. America will fall.
Oh.
It's just a point if we're going to see it or not. America will fall. It's natural.
Right.
From ancient Egypt, every conquering country has fallen. You know what I'm saying? America is going to be another one of those countries that we popped up, we started something, and it ended. That's how the history books are going to look at us. We lasted for 250, 300 years, and then now we're just a regular old country now. Somebody else is taking over.
Can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
So with all of the greed, the violence, the brutality, the most horrific conditions, and you still fuck this up.
Yo,
does that make you a dumbass? I'm just asking in your opinion.
It makes you. We're gonna call it dumbass. We're gonna make it because you don't learn from the previous.
Can we go to that?
When you don't learn, there you go. When you don't learn from the previous, you're a dumbass.
And see, this is a sign, in my opinion, that we really are the children of God. Because it's like through all of that, this shit is still fucked up.
It is.
It's like, yo, how did you not have, because you did everything that you could to have generational, forever money. You see what I'm saying? And this shit's still crumbling.
Well, the economy isn't a God-based thing. The economy isn't a God-based thing.
It's a Satan-based thing.
Because let's look at it this way. And this is what I tell a lot of people and everything. The economy itself, God never said, hey, you need to have gold, spend money to have a great life. That was never God's intention. Because if you look at what other creatures on this earth, and our fault is one, we think we're the best creatures on this planet. Okay?
When you say we, who?
Humans.
Okay.
We think we're the best creatures on this planet. Okay? But if we look at us as just one of the species on this planet, we're the only species, the only one that hunts for sport. Everything else, every other creature on this planet kills for food. It's two main bases of life: to live, reproduce, and educate. Okay? Life gives you the ability to educate. Reproducing, the kids to educate. Educate the kids that you have. That's what life is. Life, if you break life down to basics, that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. And we're the only creatures on this planet that teaches our kids, hey, you can kill for sport. You can kill for fun. Why? Because you got money. God never intended money to be, what is currency? That is something man made for everybody else. We made that so we can determine who was who. If you had wealth, you was wealthy. If you didn't have wealth, you was poor. That's how we discriminate between each other. That's how man discriminates between each other. The only creatures on this planet that does it.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but there's like currency is actually in you. The electricity.
Bartering is in you.
That's the trading.
Right.
Exactly.
Trade. I do one thing for you, you do one thing for me. That's bartering. That's what's in you. This pay thing, everybody doing something for money, that's something society brought along.
White society.
White society, right. Back in the day, and this is Africa, because Shaka Zulu, you can look at the movie or read the book. Let me say read the book. Don't look at the movie, read the book. You know what I'm saying? When back in those days, the African people, you had one guy that was good at building huts. One guy that was good at cooking. They barter with each other. You build me a house, I'll make sure you eat for a year.
Can we toast to that?
Yeah.
That's all, guys.
Skills. Skills is what everybody had back in the day. Before somebody said anything about currency, it was all about skills. The more skills you had, the better you were. The more that you could do for somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Now they have degrees.
Yeah, now you got a degree.
If you haven't invested in this white-owned institution, you see what I'm saying? For us to say that you're smart, us to say that you can do something at a higher level. That's what a degree is. You're saying that you can accomplish something at a higher level than somebody else can accomplish, which isn't true. Fuck no.
Because my prime example is that those that haven't even finished high school but running successful businesses with the pitfalls that surround them. Still running successful businesses.
Can we go to that?
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. You don't have a high school diploma, but you're still running successful businesses. And then you got those with master's degrees and $100,000 debt.